preview as last year's Super Bowl champs head into Lambeau to take on the Green Bay Packers in the first Sunday night football game of the season. There's a lot of newsworthy items coming into this week. We have Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in football, heading to Lambeau. We have a group of Swifties outside of Titletown Flats here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, wondering if their superstar Taylor Swift is going to be coming to the game on Sunday. And most importantly, this is the return of MVS to Lambeau. So that said, Dave, let's go ahead and open up the tab of this uh, third game of the toughest stretch of the season coming up with the Chiefs in town.
Yeah, we've held our own right throughout this tough stretch that we had circled, saying this is going to be the gauntlet. Got wins over the Chargers, got a win over the Lions, in come the Chiefs. I think that this is going to be more of a defensive battle than people realize. Chiefs offense has been struggling. Their defense last time just blitzed the hell out of Jordan Love. I think that's a huge thing to watch for. But this Packers defense is on the rise. It's playing well. It's holding teams to under 20 points of late, and they're getting after the quarterback. So if that continues, it might be a defensive showdown in Lambeau.
I sure hope that we're going to put up more than 7 points compared to 2 seasons ago that Jordan Love was thrust in the starting lineup because of Aaron Rodgers' immunization and his positive COVID testing of that week, and LaFleur has a better game plan for it. Jordan Love did outperform Patrick Mahomes on that day, and I was there having very similar seats in Arrowhead to Jordan Love's mom and his girlfriend in attendance that day too. You're seeing a defensive showdown in this one.
I think so. Do you have the weather report? I mean, you get the local news. What's it looking like?
Yeah, I don't care to take a look at forecasts. All I do is look out my window. Then we gauge it on that. No, I did check it out. We're expecting some, and this will lead into having a defensive showdown. Is it going to be a snow game, white equals green, and leading through the run game? They are expecting some snow showers, partial rain. It's been a really cold one here in Green Bay this week, into the teens and even getting into some single-digit temperatures. But they are expecting about 40 degrees, I want to say, 30 around kickoff, and some light snow flurries. So that could definitely play a factor and maybe be in more of a run-focused game there at Lambeau.
Yeah, we usually start on offense just because of the resurgence of this young offense and Jordan Love taking the step, but I want to focus on the defense because there's some key pieces to this defense that are coming back that might be major contributors. Alexander's coming back. Eric Stokes has been practicing. Rudy Ford has been practicing. We mentioned in the last episode that there is no major injury news after the Lions game, and they got 10 days to rest up. So this unit is playing good ball and getting healthier.
Out of those ones that you mentioned, who do you expect to be playing on Sunday Night Football?
I could see Jair being limited in some capacity. His stuff might be game time decision. Who knows? Maybe he goes out for warm-ups and the back starts spasming or tweaking again. I expect Rudy Ford to play. And I think that's kind of the one that's circled because I think he could give a lift. Even though Jonathan Owens played really well, I think he could give a good lift to that safety unit.
And doesn't Darnell Savage need to be deactivated off of the IR today in order to play on Sunday?
That's right. Savage is too.
Yeah, and he's been a full participant in practice the past 2 days. We know the cautious nature of the Packers, so I mean, I think it's going to be a coin flip whether he gets the nod or not. But I say all signs point towards that Darnell Savage should be back on Sunday, and then it begs the question, which they asked LaFleur this week. Do you go with Owens or do you go with Rudy Ford back there to pair with Darnell Savage?
I'm not entirely sold on Savage being in it. I mean, just because this window's open and he's been practicing as a full participant, they might still hold off on him. That's just my gut on it. But I could see Jonathan Owens, Rudy Ford back pairing, or kind of a mix and match depending on what personnel they're running out, and Johnson Jr. and Ford. But I'm not 100% on Savage yet.
Yeah, I'd almost probably lean towards that he's not going to play than he does, and I feel pretty confident that Jair will be lined up. And then like specific to the Chiefs, and we got to find a way of slowing down arguably the best quarterback tight end connection in the history of professional football. Like, what do we do there? Like, even another player that's been dealing with an injury, Devondre Campbell. You think of the strength in his game and why he was a first team All Pro a couple seasons ago was because of his pass defense and his coverage on linebacker or on tight ends and running backs. Like, how do we slow down Travis Kelce? Do we have Rudy Ford on top of him, who's had really great pass coverage? Is it Devondre Campbell? Is it going to be, by committee sort of approach? Like, Dave, how are we going to slow down this Travis Kelce attack?
I don't think it's going to happen, but my inclination would be to go with have Walker run with him, because Walker can run better with him than Campbell can, and then just bracket him. Have Owens or Ford over the top, or even, they like putting Kelce in the slot. You do like a Walker and Nixon type deal. But you got to put at least two guys on. Put three on them, and then just have MVS brick hands over there in cold Lambeau dropping everything in sight.
It's the opposite. MVS giveth and MVS taketh away. It's like which is he going to do on Lambeau making his return? Because he had a few drops against the Eagles just a couple games back. I like that. I like that approach. I don't think Keyshawn Nixon fares very well against Travis Kelce, but I do like having either Quay or Devondre on him, and then maybe even a safety also sort of blanket. My thought was, though, and this is similar to what Justin Herbert come to Lambeau a couple weeks back, Patrick Mahomes is very underrated with his legs. There's been so many Sunday Night Football games that I watched that you get back there, you get a little pressure on him, and he's got to alley up the pocket that he sneaks through, and he picks up the first down on like a 3rd and 15. So I would almost think that we need to have a spy on Patrick Mahomes to some extent. And I was gonna say have Quay Walker be your spy on Patty Mahomes on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, this the Chiefs, the tail of the tape from them has this entire year is kind of almost like we got used to hearing with Rodgers. He has no one to throw the ball to. It's a bunch of inexperienced or young or not up to snuff wide receivers that are letting him down. Well, once your quarterback makes X amount of money, is taking up, a certain percentage of the cap space, you can only find so much talent around him. So it's going to be about Mahomes. It's going to be about Kelce. And then the rest of the guys, I'm pretty confident in our matchups on the defensive side.
Bunch of sort of no-namers. What's interesting, though, and like people love to get into comparisons and draft positions and where they were taken. You have 2 seasons ago, Sky Moore was taken in a similar type of spot next to Christian Watson in the 2nd round. And then this past draft, you have Rashee Rice, who's putting up some pretty good numbers. I think he's slowly becoming Pat's number 1, was taken, I want to say, just a few slots behind Jaden Reed there in the 2nd round as well. So it's like back-to-back drafts. Packers and Chiefs both need to restock that wide receiver room, and we'll see, who sort of has the better wide receivers that were taken. And I know it takes a few years to develop, but it's one sort of matchup, and I could just see it being like a comparison that Collinsworth will bring up on Sunday Night Football.
So to flip it to the offense now, and you kind of took it by leading into it, I have Jaden Reed circled on my notes. He's the X factor that we didn't have this last matchup in KC. And the reason, because I think if they do decide to blitz KC Jordan Love, which seemed to just completely wreck the entire game plan they're going for, It's going to be a bunch of quick hitters. Let the guys just work, right? Get the ball in their hands and let them get the yak. Let them kind of wiggle and squirm their way through that KC defense. I think Jayden Reed, Christian Watson, Tucker Kraft, just get the ball as fast into their hands as possible and let them do the heavy lifting.
That's another injury that we got to take a look at Sunday. Jayden Reed hasn't
He's
practiced
fine.
this week. It goes back to the Chargers game where
Yeah.
we were texting that I asked you, I'm like, dang, did Jayden Reed like land really funny during his Lambeau leap? Because he came back to the sidelines holding his chest, and that's that same injury that's sort of been lingering these past 2 weeks. But if you sort of read between the lines of Matt LaFleur's presser, I think that it's that Jayden Reed doesn't necessarily need to be a full participant or even limited participant throughout the week to practice on Sunday. Or I'm sorry, to play on Sunday.
Yeah, he's in. Even his own locker room interview, he's like, "Yeah, I'm playing." Like, so I'm fully confident that he's going to be in. But I just he's going to be in the slot. They like getting the ball in his hands. I don't want to see him taking as many shots as he did in that Lions game with the end rounds, but he's going to be a big component of this game.
Yeah, completely agree there. And Dontavian Wicks, he'll be back on Sunday as well. Cleared concussion. It's like this is basically turned into an injury report type episode for how many players we have on it these past few weeks. But yeah, get some slant plays. Continue to hit the middle of the field with Dontavian. Quick hitters to Jayden Reed, and if snow's a factor, A.J. Dillon, 15-plus touches, and maybe some more Sean Rhyan in there on the offensive line to get the run game going. I will say, if there's been one trend these past few weeks that I've really liked out of the progression out of Love, has been him getting through like maybe his first or his second read and then hitting the check down to A.J. Dillon that has picked up at least a few first downs. So I expect that to continue, and there's going to be a lot of flats between Jayden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, and then also I think Tucker Kraft could get involved much more in the action as well to get the ball out of Love's hands quickly. Now, Steve Spagnuolo is known for blitzing, but the Vikings do blitz 70% of the time, like A.J. Dillon said at his locker during the interview this week. So sort of some of the similar type of schemes that we'll have against us there on Sunday, and I expect Love to handle it much better than what he did two seasons ago.
I think LaFleur will have some stuff dialed up, some blitz beaters and checkouts and cans to get into the right looks. It's just
not as many go balls. He's like, yeah, we were going to hit him with quite a few go balls 2 weeks ago, and he's like, I put that on me. I should have came up with a better game plan for basically a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, it was just like Rodgers, all of a sudden this COVID stuff just came up, and then Love was thrust into the action, and they pretty much had to wipe out the whole game plan that they were working on for the game. So now we know what we're working with. Love is feeling himself the last 4 weeks. It'll be an interesting test. I still think it's going to be a close loss, but I'm excited to see the growth of this team and how they handle going up against Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah, that's what's likely. And now with Joe Burrow being out for the Bengals for the rest of the season, you can likely go ahead and put the Chiefs there as the AFC representative for this year's Super Bowl. And Patrick Mahomes, unlike Amon-Ra St. Brown, did give a lot of respect to Lambeau along with Jordan Love and the players, which is great to see. So I expect him to put on a show, us to be once again entertained here at Lambeau. And who knows, maybe Christian Watson does build off of his two performances and we get him involved in the action, and that can open things up down later in the game. But hey, if it snows, we got to find a way to get this slow burning running game on the track.
Yeah, I mean, for as much as I criticized A.J. Dillon in the beginning of the year, he's definitely turning it around. Lions game, he caught some balls and turned it upfield and made something out of nothing. He did have the time where he ran into Jordan Love on the 4th down play, but stuff like that happens to this team.
I would say, how about special teams? We maybe need to give a little more credit where it's due. That Daniel Whelan had 4 punts inside the 20 last week against the Lions. I know it was brought up, and we immediately think to like missed extra points and bad snaps for the field goal unit. And I will say for that game 2 years ago against the Chiefs, we did miss 2 early field goals. So the score could have been a little bit better than what it looks like when you just take a look at the box score.
Yeah, field position is going to be huge in this game. I mean, KC can run up and down on you, but if we have another game like the Lions where we're pinning them inside the 15 or the 10-yard line constantly, and we get a little bit of life out of Keyshawn, maybe he breaks one or two, we start at the 35 or the 40, or he houses one, like, we're in business. I'm not that confident in Carlson right now. I don't know if it's like the rookie leg where the leg starts just tiring out, at this point in the year. I don't know if it's just the whole operation. So I have this game going 27-19. And the reason I have it 19 is because I think that Carlson misses an extra point.
For the 4th straight game in a row.
Yeah.
And I don't want to start entering into the playoff conversation just yet. Different day, different episode. But when I was starting to sort of entertain those thoughts, I'm like, it could come down to the rookie kicker and missing a field goal for why we go 3-3 instead of 4-1 for those games. And it's like, for special teams, you have the plus of now with it being December, Keyshawn Nixon at Lambeau is likely going to get more opportunities to return the football because it's harder to kick it into the end zone for him to break one loose or give us good field position. And then this is Daniel Whelan's first true test, being a punter at Lambeau. We think back to Bojo and J.K. Scott, the former punters for the Packers, that they looked great, or I wouldn't say great, but they looked formidable for September through mid-October. Then November and December is when things definitely took a turn. You have it going. All right, so what's your score again?
I had 27-19.
27-19. You got. I feel like you need to throw some other predictors out there,
which is killing me because I'm like, I really want this win. My logical brain is on, but as a fan, it's like, man, we just got so much help from the Cowboys. Seahawks losing, like, if we can sneak an upset into this one, like, we're right in the talks of, wow, the Packers are going to do this.
Yeah, another year, and then we get a beat down by the 49ers in San Francisco.
So I'm going to roll with my boy Karl Brooks getting a sack because right now I think he's 4th in rookies with sacks, and he's tied for 1st in forced fumbles, and he's also 14th in interior defensive line pressures in the league right now. He's cooking. So Karl Brooks getting a sack. I have my boy Wicks coming back from injury and getting a touchdown. And then I said Carlson's going to miss an extra point. So I guess I'm rolling with those 3.
So all you FanDuel bettors out there, or Sport King, DraftKings, whatever sports betting platform you like to go through, you heard it there. I don't know if you can bet on I think you could probably bet on Karl Brooks getting a sack. I'd have to say those are probably pretty good odds if you're going to bet on something like that. Really good return.
What do you got? What do you got cooking for us?
I have a 28-24 loss against the Chiefs. I have Quay Walker getting his 2nd interception of the season. There's been how many games now that we've started off at Lambeau that there's been a pass over the middle of the field, there's some congestion, and Quay Walker gets his mitts on it, but he's not quite able to corral it. I think there's going to be another one of those similar type opportunities thrown towards Travis Kelce. It could be some pressure from Karl Brooks or from Rashawn Gary or Devontae Wyatt. So I have Quay Walker getting his 2nd interception of the season. On offense, playing off of your touchdown to Dontavian Wicks. I think it will hurt us slightly with Jaden Reed being out this week for practice. So I have the person picking up the slack going to be a Dontavian Wicks with his first career 100-yard receiving game in the NFL. Love's still probably going to keep it around like 230, 240 in passing, I want to say. And that's basically the predictors that I have here for this Sunday night contest.
Speaking of Love, shout out to him. First Green Bay Packer ever to have 3 touchdown passes in, I think it's 3 games, or is it 4 games through the first 12 games of the year. It's franchise record for the young kid. So all the arrows are pointing up.
And he has pretty comparable numbers to, I think, is what's
They're
going
dead
to
even.
be. Yeah, that between him and Patrick, I'm just saying for him and Patrick
Oh.
Mahomes, the numbers are pretty similar there for a down year for Pat. We know what Aaron used to say, a down year for him, his career years for most. Dave, I believe at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes will go down as the best quarterback of all time. And here is how you know Jordan Love has arrived. The reason he's arrived is because Aaron Andrews finally had a sit-down interview with Jordan Love. I think it came out on Thanksgiving Day as sort of like the Fox pregame.
Yeah.
But she posted it on Instagram a couple days ago. There's a really beautiful intro with an Odessa song on there, and like the locker room celebration, and Matt LaFleur saying, for the first time in 2 seasons, a quarterback throwing over 300, and then you just hear Rashawn Gary in the background going, yelling. And I'm like, all right, now we know that J Love is the real deal if Aaron Andrews putting her stamp of approval on him.
I thought you were going with the stat of Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers have literally identical stats through 11 games.
Yeah, I could go there. We try not to rehash anything that we see too viral on social media.
I agree.
Too much. And we don't have like a Connor Lewis, a data analyst like Matt LaFleur has to, or a game management person to go through and try to find those little tidbits for us. But hey, J Love could be that guy.
Patrick Mahomes has 2 more touchdown passes than Jordan Love at this stage. Does Mahomes extend that lead, or does Love close the gap? Who throws more touchdown passes in Lambeau?
Patrick Mahomes does. I think our defense, while they've been really great in the red zone, I don't know what the exact numbers are, and we've held a lot of teams to field goals. We're going to see some razzle-dazzle on Sunday night with Andy Reid and the play calls that he has. It's a lot of window dressing, I know. I just wanted to get that word out there, some window dressing. But, I mean, they're excellent in the red zone, and this is the type of game, Dave, that whenever the Chiefs are on prime time like every other weekend, and respectfully so. It's like when I see opponents put up 3 points on them and they're held to field goals, I'm like, you just lost the game. I'm like, you can't not put up touchdowns against the Chiefs and expect to win.
So 2 quick things. Packers defense, passing defense in the red zone is actually a lot better than people statistically give them credit for. It's actually, they're allowing a lot of rushing touchdowns is their Achilles heel in the red zone. And then to your point about the field goal thing, I want LaFleur to bring out his inner Dan Campbell. Just go for it. 4th and 4, wherever you are, go for it. Like, do the Madden style. Like, I'm on my own 35. Like, it's 4th and 1, go for it. Like, don't even kick it away.
LaFleur I think LaFleur this week took a shot at Dan Campbell for them going for it on 4th and 4. It seemed like a bit of a shot at Dan. He's like, yeah, that was a pretty interesting play call for them to go for it on, within their own territory, and the way the game was flowing at that point. Yeah, hey, continue to be aggressive, LaFleur. Try to steal a possession from maybe an onside kick. And I'm glad the eye test worked out well. That I don't know what the exact numbers are in the red zone. I can think of a ton of rushing touchdowns when we get down there from the Lions or the Steelers or Broncos or other teams or what have you. Yeah, I think you're going to see some creativity from Andy Reid and them boys for this Sunday night showdown.
Yeah, I think if this game was earlier in the year, there would be a lot more. There's going to be a barn burner, but the Packers definitely found their stride over the last 4 or 5 weeks where this could be an interesting one. They could hang on for a little bit, and then the Chiefs eventually pull away type deal.
So if we win this Sunday, are you officially going to say that, driver's seat, the percentage goes skyrocket to make the playoffs this year?
Let's do it, man. You'll be cheering loud at Lambeau, and hopefully they give you some excitement.
And I'm going to go ahead and predict a 65-35 split for Chiefs fans to Packers fans on Sunday. Yeah. And that 65 is also going to be sprinkled in with some Swifties in hopes of her being there. If I was a betting person, I say Taylor Swift's going to be there Sunday night.
Man, they should play like love story of Jordan Love slings it into the end zone, like throwing touchdown dimes. Just play love story over and over again, especially if it's to Romeo Dobbs.
Yeah, or there's another song that she talks about Romeo as well, which may very well be the same one. There's a lot of different boyfriend dynamics and love going on in her song. It will be interesting to see if the Lambeau announcers decide to play any T Swift music or make any jabs themselves towards T Swift being there.
Man, you enjoy the game. We got all day of football to watch till we reach ours. It's kind of one of those slow burning Sundays until you finally reach Packer game time.
It's gonna take a while. I have a feeling it's gonna be a long Sunday. Like, hey, are we here yet? When do I open up my first drink for that Sunday? Yeah, should be a good one, and definitely gonna dress warm there for it as well.
It'll truly be a waiting all day for Sunday night for this matchup.
Yes.
Shout out Carrie Underwood.
Yes. A beautiful one to end it on.
Thanks, man. I try. All right, man. You enjoy the game. Take it easy. Good talking, Packers.
Absolutely. Cheers.